Hi, everybody.
Yep, bro.
Okay, crisis averted. It has been found in an obvious location.
Hi, Rona. Welcome back.
Oh, are
we're
you?
live.
Did we start?
Oh,
Yes.
well,
sorry.
yeah.
Surprise!
So, to kind of give. So, one thing that I want to do, because we have been doing this for a while now, we are into week 14 doing
14.
this. I want to do a very quick kind of recap of the game and world so far, or so the world that I created in the game so far, and I also want to have, excuse me, I'm gonna also have you guys kind of describe your characters a little bit, in terms of like introducing yourself, what you're about, that kind of a thing. Just for people who may be joining us anew, and those who may have missed stuff in the past.
That's actually a pretty good idea.
So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to start with character introductions, just so that people know when I say a name, they'll know who I'm talking about and not just this entity out there in the ether. So,
Ooh.
I'm gonna have.
I thought we were entities out in the ether, though.
Well, that's the internet. Cardin, so Blind or Cardin, would you like to start us off then?
Yes, I am. I'm Cardin. I'm the barbarian. I do stuff.
Okay.
I hit things, and I am a. I'm not tall, but I'm a hardy fella.
Go ahead and
I
give
like to hit
races.
things. I'm a Kalishtar.
Everybody's kind of figured that out by this time, so I don't.
Yeah, I am a Kalishtar. So basically, and I am a sort of like a. Do we want to say like subclass too?
Sure. Why not?
Yeah, I'm a Kalishtar Bear Totem Barbarian. So basically, resistance everything build.
By the way,
Also, just
Kalishtar is a being with another spirit inside of them.
Yeah.
For those who don't understand what this Kalishtar thingy is.
Kalistars can be found on. Remember what book off the top of my head, but they're there.
Eberron.
Oh, thank you.
They're fun. They're fun.
Eberron.
And
I use them all.
Yes.
I use them all.
Yes. Also, just for clarity's sake, all of the party members are level 5. They just leveled up last session. So moving right down the list.
Interject today.
Moving right down the list, Valinar.
I'm about average height. I am also a Kalishtar. And I swear I'm a cleric, guys.
Even though he just learned animate dude.
Well,
Yes.
don't be
I have
spoilers.
Such as
Spoilers.
animate death,
You damn
burning
heretic.
fire, burning I swear I'm a cleric, guys.
Of what domain?
I'm light domain.
Okay, and who is your light, not
Okay.
life.
Light.
And yep,
Sure.
and your deity is Gaisa,
Light.
the deity of light. So, okay, Denoch.
So Denoch is a dragonborn, a lizard man, necromancer.
Ooh.
Standing at about 6'5", or no, 6'2". Black scales.
What's left of them?
Yeah, after you've been pulling out all of them.
Wink.
All the wrong scales.
I'm sorry.
That was
okay?
Valinar.
Hey, I only pulled out one.
It only ever takes one.
Indeed.
Anything else, Denock?
I hate the gods
That's fair.
for reasons yet unknown.
To the party.
Kind of reveal, but yeah.
Only to like one person of the party, if I remember correctly.
I think that was me, wasn't it?
Pretty sure. Katya or Rona, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Describe Katya at the risk of breaking the fourth wall and talking to all viewers out there. My name is Katya, and if you missed previous sessions and you did not hear me pour my heart out to Valinar and a beardless dwarf named Ada, I'm not supposed to be a male, but I am. Because I decided to mix magic with alchemy, I am forever stuck in a man's body. I am about a foot taller than I should be. I weigh much more than I should, and I have a penis between my legs. I'm not bitter at all about this, but one day I will change back. But in the meantime, I am adventuring with these 3 other folk, and without their help, I am pretty much hopeless.
Gracious, I mean, yeah, hopeless is a good word.
Hopeless, yeah. I
I
don't know what to do. I don't know what to do without my cushy home. So far away. But I have magic. The problem is I can't control it though. I go to use magic and it usually ends up backfiring one way or another. Although I'm feeling rather spry today, so let's see what happens, shall we?
So he is a wild magic sorcerer.
Yes. Did I not clarify that?
Nope. For people who again are joining us, the table he is using is a homebrew table that I created. So if you're following along at home and what he rolls doesn't match up with what's in the book, well, tough titties, because it's what I made. And then I am the host, the god of this world, Big Ripper. I voice literally everything else in this game. So
he doesn't allow us to do our own voice acting.
I said everything else. You guys can do your
exactly.
own voices as long as the mic and audio is able to pick it up. So with that being said, the world that I have created is the world of Mundus. And this world, over 2,000 years ago, went to war with one of the demon god's generals, Tenebris. His this is all in the backstory I gave to you to the world, guys. To you guys. So this general waged war in the name of the demon god Orcus, leading the hordes of undead and demons from the depths of hell, pushing humanity to the brink of extinction. When faced with this catastrophic event, the humans, and in this case, including all mortal races, so humanity banded together and essentially yeeted themselves out of the surface level of the material plane. They currently float in large islands, miles and miles above the surface world, out of reach of any devil or fiend. They have spent the last 2,000 years in isolation on an individual island. And unbeknownst to the rest of the world, these islands lived separately. There were 4 islands, unaware of an existence of any other island. And most people had forgotten about the war. And what is changing those events is when the party first met. They woke up together in a random cave, unsure of how they got there or why. And they later found out that each and every one of them are from a different island. And the island that they are currently on is nobody knows this island at all. And one of their members of the party is actually from the surface world. Cardin, the barbarian, is from the surface, where demons still roam and prowl about. Since the party has come together, they have done a number of good deeds for cities surrounding, or the cities in this island, on this island. And when they introduced themselves to the first major figure of the first town they came across, in the city of Dagbor, they told the mayor, Theo, that they were not from around here. And when proven their case to Theo tasked them with informing the other lords of the land, as he was calling a summit to be held, allowing for all of the lords to get together and discuss what is to be done or what could be done with this new news. As I said before, they were unaware of an existence in another island. They thought humanity rested solely on their island. But that is not the fate of the world. Along the way, the party learned some valuable lessons. Lessons such as running headlong or head first into danger when not having proper backup. They were also taught the importance of having camaraderie among themselves, how it'll help them survive even if they don't know one another. And they were taught the importance of knowledge and how having knowledge can give you a one-up on your enemies in some situations. And they are currently now traveling with a messenger from Mayor Zio, Ada, a dwarven individual who has forsaken the customs of a dwarf and has chosen to live life as a gnome. And with that, he is their messenger, travels with them from town to town, providing essentially providing the face of the group in Mayor Zio's absence by being a well-recognized individual. The party has currently visited 2 cities, not including the city of Dagbor. They have visited the city of Baran and the city of Deja, and informed them of the summit being held. They currently reside in the city of Inthalna, where they have yet to meet with the figurehead or heads of this town to inform them of what is to come. Upon arriving in the city over the last day or so, the party discovered that this city is home to essentially a fight pit. And they're itching to make some money in a party-style brawl. And that is where we kind of rejoin our party as they clamber out of bed the next morning, feeling refreshed, and oddly, there's a spring in your step, as if feeling more rejuvenated than. Also, real quick factor, and this was something that I forgot last session that could have been very detrimental, but I solved it through private messaging. earlier this week, Hardin the Barbarian had failed a save against a death dog. And for those of you who don't know what a death dog does when it bites you, is it poisons you. You remain poisoned until you're cured. And every 24 hours, you lose 1d10 hit points. Maximum hit points. And if it reduces your maximum hit points to 0, you die.
Oh.
So, to rectify that, I basically I looked up the spell, and it requires no material component of Lesser Restoration. You're poison. I asked Valinar, the local cleric, if he prepares Lesser Restoration on a regular basis. Yes. And with that, I asked Cardin what time he woke up the following day after being beaten to a bloody pulp, being exhausted, and having a long day. After a little bit of redirection, as I believe 7:30 would have been way too early, he decided that it was a little narrowly avoiding the 24-hour mark, giving Valinar plenty of time to cast Lesser Restoration on him, and hence solving the problem that otherwise would have cost Cardin a maximum HP.
And that's to be fair, I only got 8 HP on my last level up.
Oh no.
It would have hurt a lot. But regardless, we solved that issue. And which brings us to the city of Enthauna, where you guys wake up and the day is, like I said, you feel a little more lively. Day is yours.
What
Seize
time?
the day.
What time did the pit fight start? That's Cardin's first.
You were told the night before that the pit fights take place a little later in the afternoon.
Okay.
I go for breakfast.
It's always
You go.
Food is always the best way to start a day.
It is. It is always a great way to start the day, and so you guys come downstairs. You guys see the Furbolg innkeep of the Inn Zealous kind of standing, and he kind of goes, "Oh, hey, good morning. Breakfast?" Kind of says questioning.
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, are you guys ordering like a normal meal, or are you guys planning to go for something a little more lavish?
I order meat.
I want something that's going to give
Energy through the day.
something that's going to give me energy through the day, but not too filling, so that I'm not feeling sluggish when it comes time to compete.
Alright, so I'm hearing a bunch of modest meals.
Except for me.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay. The barkeep kind of looks you guys up and down, and he kind of just goes, "Okay. For one of the simple plates here, it'll run you about, we'll call it 2 gold pieces, and for you, sir, the hearty meal, we'll call it 5.
Okay.
And he says with kind of like a grin,
Are you sure you can't knock that down just a little bit?
positive.
How much did you say?
2 for a
mean,
modest,
2
5 for the hearty.
2 gold is rather expensive for a modest meal, especially compared to other inns we've been to lately.
Well,
Shout out
those ends are not this end. Have you forgotten what I've already told you last night?
Well,
Might makes right.
if
He remembers, he says, pointing to Valinar.
yes, but how about if we compete in the games and we win, I'll give you a portion of my share.
Are
To
you
make
that
up for it.
confident? Are you that confident in yourself, lad?
I feel positively ecstatic today.
As a GM, bravo. I caught that, but okay. He kind of looks you up and down and he goes, okay, then I'll make sure to bet on you today. Unfortunately, that doesn't change the price of breakfast.
Then no deal. I guess I'll just pay the 2 gold pieces and enjoy my meal. I hope we face him in the arena, guys.
I don't.
you could always try to. Unfortunately, your negotiation style is not very effective
Apparently.
in this city for the. So,
I'm certainly not going to try and arm wrestle him.
That's something I would do, and I'm already eating.
Alright, so you guys mark off your gold pieces, and the modest meal is modestly modest, if I have to say it.
Wow.
It's
All right.
it's filling, but it's not impressive. There's some eggs and some slightly undercooked ham.
Yeah.
But some is undercooked, some is overcooked. One is like
So-
heavily salted. It feels
Some
like
is half and half.
It's kind of one of those like he probably shouldn't be the cook, but he's cooking anyway, kind of a deal. Pardon, your plate is primarily meat, but each piece has a different flavor to it almost. One's too salty, one is cold, one is like it looks like charcoal. One is a piece of charcoal.
This isn't meat. Crunch, crunch, crunch.
Just chip.
The meat chip.
It is.
You couldn't eat that.
God.
You couldn't eat that.
I'm not eating the charcoal, but
Okay. It does fill you. For all of you who eat. However, it doesn't seem to be. It's a little disappointing compared to the previous inns that you have stayed at.
wait up. I'm going to call for the barkeep actually.
Okay. Okay, you kind of like raise your hand and he comes down. Yeah?
There was charcoal on my plate instead of a piece of meat.
Oh, heavens it must have fell in when I was loading the plate with your meat. Terribly sorry about that.
I would appreciate it if I got not ripped off next time. Also, you should probably hire a cook.
Oh, damn. Well, I wasn't gonna say it, but he
Are
did.
you insulting my cooking?
Yes.
Yeah. You charge an outrageous amount for.
Carden, does a
This
17 hit
quality.
you?
Does hit.
A 17 hits?
Yeah.
Yeah. You take. You take 3 points of damage as the bartender reaches across the bar and just slugs you in the face. Keep in mind,
rude.
Are you sure you want to do that?
and keep in mind, the barkeep is he's somewhere in the neighborhood of 7 foot, and he goes, "That one's free. Next time you insult my cooking, you won't be served."
I think I'd
That
rather
might be
starve.
What was that? I'm sorry, I missed it.
That might be better.
Kind of like looks at you. I'm gonna see if he decides to hit you or not. He doesn't go to hit you, but he definitely looks at you in this kind of, if I knew you weren't traveling in a pack kind of mentality. He kind of, well, I'll know not to serve at least 2 of you the next time you come in.
Enoch just shrugs.
Honestly, I'd rather just eat my rations.
That's what I was
Then-
thinking.
Then eat them, he says, and
Okay.
he
Run up,
walks
hold down
away.
rack, and just start eating.
But I mean, I have had worse food, I suppose, since we have been on this journey. No 2 rations are made the same, you know?
You guys finish eating your meal?
I finished eating the food I paid for.
Yeah.
You guys finish eating, and what else would you like to do?
I'm just filled with energy. I don't know what to do with myself. What is there to do for fun around here? Besides the pit. Because I knew you were gonna you were gonna try and sell the gladiator games again.
But there is question: is Otto with us right now? Sorry.
Otto would be coming down probably about this point in time. Yeah. So he is now.
Okay.
You guys probably got up just a hair earlier than he did. So he kind of comes down and orders his food. Yeah. Notably, Otto's food is not overpriced, and it looks delicious.
What's a girl gotta do to get good food around here?
The party awkwardly turns and stares at you.
What? It shouldn't be a surprise at this point.
Otto kind of looks over at you and goes, "No, but everybody else will find it as a surprise."
Surprise. No, but
Well, there's
seriously.
not a whole lot of people in the tavern.
Seriously, how come you get the better deal?
Simple. He knows better.
I'm gonna guess Otto must have beat you up at some point.
Who are you saying that to?
The barkeep.
I wanted to call it I'd call it more of a respect thing. He's earned it. You have not.
We're Otto's bodyguards. You would think that'd count for something.
He looks at you, and then looks at Otta, and then looks back to you, and then back to Otta, and he goes, I feel like he could snap you like a twig.
Her probably.
Not probably, definitely. You don't have much constitution, Katia.
Otta kind of
Fair
just
enough.
smiles and shrugs with the cock of his drink and goes, hey, what can I say? I come from strong bones.
He's a dwarf, isn't he?
He is a dwarf, but he does not recognize himself as a dwarf. He has abandoned his, whenever you have been introduced to him, because this is what Cardin would know, he has been introduced as a gnome.
Okay.
But he is very obviously a dwarf, but he identifies as a gnome. As far as you are aware anyway. You have no idea, as Cardin, about him being one or the other, really.
Okay.
You just know how he has been introduced to you as.
Well, we'll see about respect once we're the new champions of the pit. Right, Cardin?
Right.
Perhaps our next meal will be a little more worthwhile. And at this, Katya's gonna get up from the bar, done with his food, and walk away.
Okay. Where do you head?
Out the door, with no idea where I'm gonna go, but I'm going out the door.
You walk outside and you see a fairly busy town. Lots of angry-looking people, but it's a pretty busy town.
Why is everybody just so angry around here?
I like
I asked that out loud to myself.
Well, how would you feel if you probably fought every day?
Katya, as you're standing there kind of in the middle, like kind of out in the open, roll a 1d100 for me.
Oh no.
Oh boy.
1d100. 58.
As you're kind of standing there and kind of just standing and gawking, and you talk out loud. It's about this. It's like after a moment of that, somebody kind of bumps into you, and the guy kind of turns and goes, "Watch it!" Kind of looks at you. What do you do?
I'm gonna look confused. Watch it. I was standing here. You walked into me.
Oh, so now you're back talking.
I punched the guy in the face.
You're still inside eating. The only person who has declared that he has left the tavern has been Katya.
At this time, I
This
walk outside.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I'm probably
it is, just so that you are aware, Katya, this is a human male, kind of burly. He looks like a farm boy, kind of strength, kind of build of a person. Not like somebody who works out regularly, but somebody who gets his strength from being active. And
I'll
Dinock,
sass
you
if
kind
I
of
want.
you
I'll
walk
sass
out.
if I want to sass. If there's anybody who's full of sass, it's gonna be me.
Is that what you say to him?
Snap my fingers.
Kind of looks at you and he just kind of goes, "Wise guy, eh? I got a solution for wise guys."
Oh no.
Does a 14 hit?
Sadly, yes.
You take 4 points of damage as he slugs you in the face. Whack! And knocks you, just punches you right across the jaw.
Oh, that's how it's gonna be, huh? I'm gonna pull out my dagger, but I'm not gonna hit him with the dagger. I'm gonna blunt force with the handle of it.
Okay, go ahead and roll an attack.
Oh man! That's a no. That's a
Okay.
bad fail.
You go to like smack him with the back of the dagger, and you watch as this man like sees it coming, and you don't know how this happens, but all of a sudden, actually, hold on, let me roll.
Oh no.
Oh god. Okay. Yeah, you don't know how it happens. You blink. And all of a sudden, you are on your back, and your own dagger is pressed against your throat, and the man has literally got a knee in your chest. I said, watch where you're going. I won't repeat myself again. And he stands up and throws the dagger in the dirt beside you and walks off. Did you?
Mental note: don't piss off that guy.
It's at that note, Donna walks out after seeing it and goes, "Who's that asshole?" Very loudly.
He's my new friend.
I walk out with Valinar.
Wow. This guy is apparently pretty dense. He does not hear you.
Cardin shouts that after him. Say, hey, you asshole, we're trying to talk to you.
Oh, apparently. Okay.
I'm not even shitting you. He continues to walk. So, you know what? You know what? This guy is death. That's what this is. He's deaf. He can't hear.
Then he won't
He
hear
only-
this coming. I pull out my crossbow.
He only understood Katya based off of lip movements. Because I kid you not, he
Fantastic.
rolled just because you rolled a natural 1, I gave him kind of a reactionary kind of a thing, and I rolled a natural 20, and I was like, okay, that'll do. And so you got pinned on the ground, and then I proceeded to roll 2 natural 1s back to back.
Oh my god.
Brilliant.
What are you rolling
Really?
insight for? Hello?
Good?
Hello?
You good?
Yeah, I heard something about reactionary, and then just like silence.
Oh. Yeah, roll 20 Discord doesn't like you at times.
I noticed.
Basically, I rolled a natural 20 for a reversal, and then I proceeded to roll 2 natural 1s back to back.
Wow.
All
And
right.
my insight's not high enough that I even recognize that he could potentially be deaf.
Okay. But he has walked off, and the lot of you are standing outside. And Otta kind of walks out behind you, and he kind of... I see you've met some of the locals. You'll get used to it.
But a bit too touchy-feely for my taste. As Katya stands up and replaces his dagger.
Yeah,
No,
don't
we
get too
were talking-
touchy-feely. Oh, sorry, Valnar.
I thought touchy-feely was your type.
It's different when it's somebody that you like. It's not okay if it's a total stranger.
Well, as long as you don't get too touchy-feely with the locals, they'll leave you alone.
I didn't
Anyway.
even touch this guy. He ran into me.
That's touchy. You touched.
Literally. BS.
Regardless, we should probably arrange a meeting for to meet with the. We should probably arrange to meet with Lumia. He should still be in charge around here.
It's not going to involve some kind of physical confrontation to prove ourselves correct.
I don't know. Rumor has it he's a ex-elven warlord, so maybe.
Oh, okay.
I guess I'm actually needed in the meeting this time.
Ada kind of turns and looks at you and he goes, "You know you've been in every meeting, right?"
Yes, I'm aware.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, really been
But I haven't done anything in these meetings.
Fair enough. Anyway, it will be this way, and he kind of walks around the rather large pit, kind of in the middle. And at this time of day, you can actually see a few individuals kind of down in the pit itself, turning the gravel, essentially, that is at the bottom of this pit, bringing up pushing down some of the blood-stained rocks into deeper levels. And he walks over to kind of a building kind of in the middle of some of these other buildings. It's kind of off from where you guys are staying a little ways. Denock, you would have seen that you guys actually would have walked by this building on your way into town.
Okay.
Just because of your keen mind bullshit. Hey, I know there are some campaigns that keen mind is straight up outlawed, along with Lucky.
Aww.
Keen
yeah.
Mind is my favorite feat.
I love giving it to an idiot.
I don't
Anyway,
have enough
there we go.
intelligence. I don't have enough base intelligence to have Keen Mind.
I don't think there's a requirement, is there?
I think there is a requirement for
Oh.
Keen Mind, if I remember right.
I don't
thought it was
remember.
like-
Anyway,
Probably.
okay,
you guys
that's-
are led
I mean,
to
Romulus the player is an idiot. Enoch's the smart one.
Fair enough. You guys are led to a kind of a small, simple, what looks to be home. And Ada kind of steps up to the door and he kind of goes, "Y'all ready?"
Sure.
Well, don't everyone speak
Right,
at once.
Is this the right place?
Could be, as long as he still lives here. Kind of pounds
What
on the
happens
door.
if he doesn't?
Well, we try again. And you guys wait a moment, but eventually the door kind of opens. And standing before you is a rather tall elven man. He's got even though he's got this light green features of skin, you can see that his body is dense with hair and scars. He currently stands before you shirtless, wearing some basic trousers, kind of standing in front of you guys. He's got this. Oops, sorry, I just punched my mic. He's got black, like
What does
a
that have to do with you?
black. Well, it was in my way. It's got some. His black hair kind of runs down, just past kind of the base of his skull, and it's flaked with some gray, giving him kind of a wiser, beyond your years kind of a look. He looks to be.
I think he still lives here.
He looks to be 50, mid 50s, maybe early 60s. And he kind of looks around and he kind of goes, "Can I help you?" Kind of stares, looking at the lot of you.
Points to Ada.
Looks down and
Okay,
kind
there is no requirement for Keen Mind.
of, squirrel.
Explore.
So he kind of like looks down and goes, Otto, right? Kind of goes, yeah, that's me. Here on behalf of Mayor Zio. Oh, huh. I wasn't expecting anybody. Please come in. And he kind of steps back and gestures to his home. Otta kind of waves you guys onward, and you guys step into his home. It's not a very large building. It's kind of like a studio apartment. And what I mean by that is you can basically see, you enter one room and you can see every room except for what appears to be some form of a bathroom. His bed is neatly made in one corner with a chest at the base of it, with a kind of like a nightstand and what appears to be a candle on it. That seems to be the only thing on that that kind of stand. You do see a small fireplace that at the moment is currently lit and looks to be boiling some kind of small cauldron you gather of water, as there's no immediate smell in the vicinity. And he's got some cupboards and things off on the side, allowing him storage for different kinds of goods. And he's got a table with 2 chairs at it. You do see kind of by the or above the fireplace, kind of like as a mantle, you see a very intricate sword. Looks to be some kind of long sword that has very ornate and elvish carvings on it, or at least on the scabbard, kind of hanging above the fireplace. And he kind of, sorry, I don't have enough chairs for everybody. I very rarely meet with more than one person or 2 at a time. Ada, you're typically you deserve to sit. I am assuming this group here is some form of protection for you, so I recommend whichever one takes charge in decision making for them to sit down with you at the table. I'll stand kind of over here. Kind of stands.
Oh, don't mind if I do.
All right, Kadia, you sit down with Ada. Kind of leans kind of against a wall that seems to be got some kind of door behind it. You assume leading to some kind of washroom, keeping the front door and kind of windows kind of within view of line of sight of him. And he Tinak will remember this. Okay. Kind of the outside noise kind of begins to fade as the door closes behind all of you. Alright. Sorry, trying to adjust audio levels a little bit to be a little more appropriate.
Ooh, appropriate.
And he kind of goes, what is this about? Kind of says, kind of leaning against the wall, kind of crosses his arms a little bit, kind of like in a loose fashion, kind of around the midsection. Still no shirt on. Arden, this guy is cut. Like you can see that you clearly would out-muscle him, but he is pretty cut for an elf, and that's
scary.
Yeah. You guys have some vague knowledge on elf physique. Being cut as an elf is difficult due to their lifestyle. Typically, a lot of elves are actually like vegetarians, in the fact that in ways that they won't actually even eat. You're not sure if this guy does or not. Based off of the way he's built, you're unsure.
He does.
Kind of looks to you guys, and Otta goes, we are here to deliver a summons from Zio. He wishes to hold council. Okay. The Otta hands the writ off to there we go. Lemyar. And he kind of reads over it. So and kind of reads over it very quickly. Okay. And kind of like sticks it in like the pocket of his trouser, and he kind of looks to you, Katya. So I'm to presume that you and your troop are the individuals in question addressed in the letter?
Absolutely. And we're kind of the reason why there's going to be a summit in the first place, and we're not even sure how we caused anything odd to happen.
Well, based off of what I've read, the fact that you're not from around here is highly concerning, considering, to the extent of our knowledge, we are the last bastion of civilization, of humanity. This floating island, if you can call it that, of Isris is, or should be, to the best of our knowledge, all that remains of humanity.
It's not.
Yeah, it kind of came as a surprise to us too.
Which is why Zio will hold a summit. And it's why most lords of the lands will attend. Not all of them. It is a concerning predicament, to say the very least. The fact that none of you are from this estate, we'll say, means that you were brought here by some power far greater than what most mages can do and understand. And we want to figure out
That's one of my thoughts.
Well, a goal of such a summit would be to figure out how, why, and how can we return you? Or, better yet, how can we use this information that we have gathered for commerce?
As much of an earth-shattering development as this as this situation is, you are absolutely correct. It is concerning, the greater reason why we are all brought together. Whatever it may be, based on some recent findings at the last city we were at, I have a bad feeling there's going to be a demon uprising of some sort, and this is some being's way of trying to unite all of humanity once more for this coming threat. But that's just speculation.
I would keep it speculation, as a demon in our midst has not been seen in, as far as I'm aware of the history books saying, at least 2,000 years. We will keep it that way.
To hear it from Cardin, it's been more recent than the last 2,000 years.
Kind of like looks to the rest of the group and kind of just eventually settles on your shorter redheaded friend, kind of raises an eyebrow kind of expectantly.
Hey, she's right. I fought. My tribe is from the surface world, and in order to survive, we have to fight these demons or fiends in order to survive on the surface world. It doesn't happen very often, but we have fought them multiple times. they're still they're not necessarily active, but they are definitely they could definitely be a threat.
Kind of like looking you over and just kind of.
Sees two
Well-
moles across my back.
Kind of. Well, even if demons still reside on the surface, they have yet to appear Nisarist. And we plan to keep it that way. As long as we are able. They have no hold to this group. We've ensured that over the past 2
But they are trying.
Oh, I'm sure they are. But we don't. There shouldn't be any way for them to arrive here unless there is some kind of magical connection between 2 points that allows for transportation to be provided. To the extent of my knowledge, this is something that cannot be done, at least not without very powerful.
How about a ritual?
Yeah, I was
A
going to ask
ritual
that
of what
same thing.
nature?
In the last city, we found a, quote, priest, unquote, was apparently hiding in plain sight and was conducting ritualistic sacrifices of young females. Race didn't seem to matter. And a certain name was, Cardin, what was the name again?
Tenebris.
Tenebris.
Tenebris. If we say it too many times, he might pop up.
Tenebris.
Not summon him, please.
He kind of.
In the middle here.
Did you say that in character or as
As a player.
I
said it as a player, as
I'm
Wallace.
talking about his chant. That's the big one.
Oh.
I said it in player
So as blind or as Cardin?
as Cardin.
Cardin, I would like for you to roll me a D100, please.
Oh no!
Oh no. Here we go again.
36.
Okay, noted. He kind of looks to you guys and goes, Tenebris. Huh. So they were trying to bring him here. Yeah, he might have enough power to move the armies here. If a ritual such as that nature were successful, assuming you put a stop to it.
We made him hide at the very least. We were hired to find the young ladies who had gone missing. That's all the people knew. We went, rescued them, killed the bandits who were apparently part of it and guarding the site. But when we returned, the ladies were distraught, so we took the slow hiding route to get them to the leaders, the wise men. One of them was one of the wise men's daughters. And by the time we got to the chapel where the priest was hiding, he had fled. At the very least, we've disrupted his plan, but he is currently hiding and we have no clue where.
Do you have a
And we have no
description of
current
this
leads.
individual?
Let me look through my notes.
We have at least have a name.
Yeah, we
You
did.
have a
His
name, but
name
you
was-
guys never laid eyes on him. I mean, you have, but you don't know who he is because you were never formally introduced. So unless Denock wants to describe every person he has ever met in the last city because of his freaking keen mind, which would roughly be 100 to 200 people that he met even in passing.
I could tell you we were given his name by the Alderman Council. They called him, and by the ladies that we rescued. His name was Torben.
Orban, okay. I'll make sure
Torben.
we keep an eye out for that name at the very least.
He may change it if he goes into hiding. I don't know.
This is true. Any descriptors at all would be beneficial. Human, elven, anything would be beneficial.
Did we?
Not that we know.
Oh, we were given a raise. What? My notes.
He's a man. That's about all he's got. That's about all we learned about him.
They did not give us any descriptions of him.
He kind of like furrows his brow and kind of goes. That'll make it much harder, but we'll keep an eye out.
Real quick,
Where's-
out of game, what was his main quote religion unquote?
I want to say it was
Ooh.
Tempest, wasn't it? I'm not-
I'm trying to see if I wrote it down.
I think it was Vita. I believe we said Vita.
No, that would have been life.
No, I want to.
Or,
I want to say.
or was it
I really
on?
think it was Thyla.
Yeah, I think it was
Ah,
Thela,
do we-
the Tempest.
Hmm.
So I tell him that, at the very least, he was a priest of Thyla.
And at the very worst, the Alderman Council of what was the city we were just at? Somebody give me a name. Somebody, anybody.
Bob.
Deja.
Deja. Thank you. The Alderman Council of the city of Deja would know what he looks like for sure.
Okay. I
And
will have to.
if we are holding this summit, I'm sure the topic will come up, and they will know. They will be able to give more details then.
Would be good to know. It also would be good to know if whether or not he needs to restart the ritual or not, or if the ritual has been interrupted or just put on pause. Does he
Well-
start over, or can he pick right back up where he was? Because that depends
can't
on how concerning he is.
I can't say I'm an expert of magic. However, my best guess is if he's trying to make a tether point to summon a demon lord, it would have to be continued at the same location, and that would be risky considering one, all of his bodyguards have been laid to rest, and number two, it's likely the town guard will be searching that area for a while, which buys us some time. But at least while he's on the run, if we do find him, he may lead us back to whoever else he may be working with.
Well, as I said, we'll keep an eye out, but unfortunately, there's not a whole lot we could do without some form of description.
Understood.
You could write a message to the wise men.
I'll have to send a message for them, probably a bit later. As you can see, you kind of caught me at, we'll say an early stage of the morning.
I feel that.
At least you're wearing pants.
Fair enough. That's kind of with a grin.
Sure.
Well, I don't know how long you guys are planning to stay in town, but
At the very least, we are going to the pit.
oh,
Don't know how long we're going to spend there.
planning to
long as it
participate
takes.
in the games, huh?
Yes.
Feel free.
Specifically for this one. And I'm pointing my thumb to Cardin.
Well, since we are doing to the death, we'll either be there for one match or all of them.
Oh, to the
Anywhere in
death.
that range.
You guys have, you guys are fairly bold. At least in
We
terms
need the
of
money.
money, sure, but having such important quests to do is difficult to do if you are dead.
That's why we won't die.
Fair enough. If you guys,
I'll say this: if Cardin dies, I'm out.
I don't
if
think
you
they'll
guys,
let you out.
I'll try.
To the death.
I will
I'll throw
say,
magic
if-
as hard as I can until I randomly teleport. We'll see what happens.
I will say, if you guys are looking for a bit of extra work on the side, I could task you guys with looking into the water source, the water that seems to flow near here seems to be polluted with. We're not sure what it is.
Interesting.
We're unsure
certainly
of the
check that out.
cause, but if you guys are again interested in a bit of extra coin, we'll investigate, find the source, and you can solve the problem. Excellent. And based off of the difficulty of the task at hand, I will pay you accordingly.
I don't
What
see why not.
information can you give us about this supposed pollution? When did it start?
Would have been a few days after another group of individuals, not too much unlike yourself, came through looking for a bit of coin. We had been having a problem with some of our livestock going missing in the middle of the night. Something about some kind of beast coming and taking it in the middle of the night. They
Sounds like a beast
They-
I would like to have as a pet.
Like a chupacabra?
They. Let me see if he. Yep, that check he does. They
Nat 20?
actually. 19. Plus
Close enough.
plus lots of numbers.
Wow.
The party actually informed me that it was a gloom drake.
Ooh. That sounds nasty.
Can be. Fortunately, it wasn't a dragon or even a wormling yet, but drakes are still nothing to be misunderstood or that's not the word I want. Not respected in the fact that they could still tear a man in half.
Gotcha.
They brought back several of its teeth, proving that they had slain the beast, and we paid them, and they went on their way. The problem with the water occurred 2, maybe 3 days later. About the closest I can get.
Can you tell us more about about these adventurers?
Yeah.
I mean, they were fairly well equipped. One seemed to be kind of a holy man. Not too much unlike yourself. He points to
Oh,
you,
really?
Valinar. But he seems to be a little more. Kind of like he kind of sees your symbol. He goes again. He's like, he seems to be a little more heavy-handed with his deity, though. There was another individual kept his hood up this whole time, and every time you looked at it, it was bizarre. It was like you started to daydream almost.
Weird.
But he stayed cloaked, small fella. Felt kind of like you. He kind of says, and he points to you, Katya. Small, kind of frail, but shorter than you.
I'm gonna make a roll real quick for trying to think like mage looking, kind of distant, maybe magic thing.
I mean, probably just based off of what he's telling you, you could conclude that without really needing a roll.
Well, what I'm saying is like, can I think of any spells that would require?
Oh,
Like-
for the hiding of the face and stuff.
Well, not that, but
Will cause you to daydream?
yeah, basically the bonus action move this thing.
Go ahead and
That
roll
would
Arcana.
That would work like at long distances too.
Mhm.
Huh? 12 on the dice makes it 20 on the roll.
Okay. It's some kind of. It's some kind of pairing of like alter self with something like potentially suggestion or even hypnotic pattern.
No, I'm not talking about whatever's keeping his face hidden. I'm saying my thought is he is controlling something at a distance to try while they're here. Something else is doing something to the water.
For the party? Sorry, dude. I don't know. I'm not understanding what you're trying to say. Are you
I'm
trying to
thinking
say?
he has some kind of servant that is currently poisoning the water while they are talking to the leader.
Oh, like the other party?
Yes,
Or
that's
do
what
you-
I'm saying.
Okay.
That the person who is robed like Katya, the small one, who is currently quote daydreaming unquote while they were talking to the town leader here.
Okay. Well, first off, the individual wasn't daydreaming. It was the magical item that he was causing the leader to daydream. And the instance of the water being poisoned or contaminated occurred after this other party had left the city.
I mean, that just means like it took. To my brain, that's saying that took time to activate, because you don't put something into a water supply and it immediately causes problems. It takes time for that to happen.
Okay.
Unless it's a major poison and it's
Mhm.
super concentrated.
Okay. So, with that check, you're not sure of any magic that would have some kind of effect like this, and I'll let it stand because it is intelligence based. You're not really sure of any other like natural poisons that might have some kind of effect like this. You know there are effects, there are poisons that could do this, but it would depend on the speed of the flow of the river, and the spread of the poison.
Oof, math.
Mm-hmm. Which, if you would be able to see the river, you would be able to perform a calculation in your head, most likely, to figure out whether or not it's like a poison or a magic. But without knowing the speed of the flow of the river, it's almost impossible to narrow it down.
Okay.
This group of adventurers sounds familiar to me. When we were in Dagbor, speaking to Mayor Zio, he mentioned a group of adventurers that had recently come through and slain a bunch of goblins.
And then
then
later
the
that
fo-
night,
Yeah, and then that later that night, we were the entire town was torn apart by a group of zombie goblins.
Well, it's been more than a few days since that party has left. I mean, it's been a couple of weeks, and we haven't seen any Boomdrake around here, even as a zombie form. We haven't.
Oh, doesn't mean it isn't connected somehow.
Not saying you're wrong.
Did
I'm
this-
just informing you that we haven't seen any zombie drakes around.
Did this party mention having traveled to Dagbor or having plans to travel to Dagbor?
They didn't mention anything to me. I didn't really inquire either. You might be able to gather some more information at the tavern, but I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know if we would get anything out of that barkeep.
Well, not only the barkeep, but there are other patrons in the bar as well that may have heard them over talking.
That is true.
You'd be surprised what people do around this place for an advantage in the games.
by the way, does Keen Mind bring to my mind, did anyone in Dagbor mention what the party that killed the goblins was made of?
I believe Zio briefly talked about it, but much like you guys did here, he got through a couple party members, and then a side conversation began. As far as you can tell, they seem to be of the same general make of a party, but the only thing kind of in common was that there was a holy individual, a holy man traveling with them. That's kind of the common link at the moment. The other two don't really match up. You were told some form of an archer in the city of Dagbor, and here you're being described of some kind of mage. You gather some kind of a mage is being described.
And what were the others, by the way?
One was an elven lass, carried a bow, a rather large quiver of arrows. And there was another man wearing plate, carried a large sword with him, calling his holy symbol on him, but he was there. And then the other, the last individual was a female human, I believe. All, at least in height, fairly built. She looked quick though. Didn't really wear anything but basic traveling clothing.
The guy with the large sword and the plate mail. I seem to remember Mayor Zio saying something about an individual just like that.
I mean, it very well could be the same party. Dagbor is only about a 2 days travel from here.
Interesting. And an odd circumstance happened shortly after they left. I can't help but wonder if they might be the cause somehow. Or they're just that unlucky.
I mean, they were a nice enough group. It wasn't like they kind of tried to exploit us for extra money or whatever. They accepted their payment and, moved on. Wasn't really any kind of fight in that regard.
True, but if they were trying to mask their intentions, then they would have been polite. I mean, Torben was a holy man, and also was sacrificing young women at a makeshift altar, and he had been the holy man for, well, we didn't get a time per se, but he fooled everyone, I'm sure.
Aye. Oh, you know what? Now that I think about it, there might have been one more member to their party.
One more.
Yeah, he didn't come in with them. And maybe it was weird. He was across the street, kind of talking with one of the individuals across the street about probably some goods, but he did seem to be glancing towards at least towards the house and the other individuals.
Interesting. Well, we'll certainly look into the water source, if you can give us directions to that. I don't know when we'll do it, but definitely while we're here during our stay.
Okay,
Assuming we're still on schedule.
Just head. I mean, that's something you guys have to figure out. Just head north, and you'll find the river. I would imagine follow the flow of the river. And you should eventually find the source.
You got that, Enoch?
I just give you a thumbs up.
Excellent.
Okay.
We'll just
there
write that on
anything
our
else?
to-do list.
Is there anything else you guys would like to do while you guys are in the abode of Lumiar?
I do ask him, does this place have a shop for magical items?
Let's see. Judging from your guys' conversation, you spent time at the bar. I'm assuming Elric filled you in on how this town runs.
Might make right.
Yeah. Unfortunately,
But
all
magic is right.
all the magical items in the town are currently possessed by somebody else. If you want them, you'll have to best them for it.
Yes, but potions and the like. Magical reagent.
You might be able to visit Ulrich. He's kind of like the local apothecary, I guess you would call it. He's
Alchemist?
sure.
Woo!
He
Sounds like fun.
He tends to dabble in some of the odd trade. He may have some. He may even trade for gold. Just be warned, most people here will they don't accept money. They mostly excel in exchanging for favors or taking what they believe is theirs.
Oof.
So he looks to you,
Something I
Katya.
do not excel at.
He looks to you, Katya. I'd be careful if I were you.
Yeah, I've already noticed. My cheek is still kind of tender from the last time I ran into someone.
Yeah, I think it's starting to bruise. He says kind of.
Oh, no, not my beautiful face.
Woo!
Wow.
Katya, check your pockets.
Huh?
What?
Katya, check your pockets.
Check my pockets.
Make sure you have everything. I just realized. What is the number one way a pickpocket gets away with everything? Bumping into their target.
Does a
Go ahead and roll an
pickpocket usually
investigate.
turn around and punch the crap out of them too?
Throws you off the trail. You don't think he's a pickpocket if he's aggressive like that.
So I guess
You
this
just
would be
think, what an asshole.
Investigation check.
investigation. Let's see if I'm missing anything. 16.
16. Nothing seems to be
Uh-oh.
missing. Just as far as you're
Okay.
aware.
As far as I'm aware, do I still have my pack? That's a good question.
Like your backpack and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah. As far
Okay.
as you can tell, you still have all of your equipment,
Okay.
all of your items.
I wanna do a
as far as
double-
you can tell, anyway.
I want to do a double check just to be safe.
I mean, it won't matter what you roll. You already rolled once.
Especially with a lower roll.
Mhm.
Yep.
You
The
lose
point is,
something.
you look in and I mean, you look through your stuff
I think
once,
it's
you
all
do
here.
it again just to be sure. It still seems to be all there, at least to the best of your knowledge.
No, that guy was just a jerk. He doesn't look like he actually took anything. And I'm certainly not about to pull up my gold purse, my coin purse, and start counting.
Anything else I can help you boys with?
I think we're good for now.
When did the game start again?
Typically they start just after dinner. So the tavern will close and you'll know.
And what time is it now?
At this point in the at this point in the day, it's probably about let's see, breakfast at an hour or two. Probably about 10 or 10:30.
Okay. So my next question is about how far would you say it is if we were to walk from here to the source of the river?
I mean, you, Katya, don't know.
I'm asking.
Oh, you're asking. Who are you asking?
Lumiere. Lumiere. What did you say his
Lumiere.
name was? Lumiere. Not Lumiere. Lumiere.
Not
He's an-
Luminara.
He's an elf.
Yes.
So he kind of goes, be a couple of hours. If you're quick about it, anyway.
Okay. We might actually have time to check out the water source before the games.
I would advise not to enter the Bleeding Forest, though. Just putting that out there.
Yeah, why is it called the Bleeding Forest anyways? Is it anything like the Parallel Woods?
Bless you.
No,
Like, is it...
it's...
I mean, is it like a glaringly obvious name for what's going on with like a weird phenomenon with the woods?
Kind of. Hard to describe, but if you enter, you'll find out.
But you just told us not to.
I said I recommend not entering. I never told you not to.
Fair enough.
As
You
this,
wanna-
Deanoch slowly puts his muzzle into his hand and is just like, as long as you don't get some weird idea like the other side is the real world and this one's not. Again.
Who's to say we never left the fake world?
Here we go again.
I just messing. But it's gonna take every ounce of my being to just tell myself, no, you don't have to know about it.
If we enter another situation like that again, I'm leaving you.
You know, you
You
could
can
always
deal with it.
you could always tie me up.
I'm afraid you'd like that.
I guess you did. I guess you didn't hear my wink.
Liviar is like, and it's officially gotten to the point where I'm gonna ask you to leave.
Carden,
Time to go.
Carden was already out the door.
That's why we haven't heard of any. Wait, how did we not hear him leave?
When Carden wants to be quiet, he can be quiet.
And to be fair, I'm pretty sure Carden has the highest stealth check of the group.
I do.
Problem.
It's not hard.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh boy. Okay.
It has been a
Alright.
pleasure meeting with you, and we will return with news.
I look forward to seeing your performance in the games tonight. It's a shame we won't be encountering one another, though.
I think you'd win. Honestly.
Eh. I do have the favor. Anyway, I'll see you guys tonight.
Everybody.
As you guys kind of leave and the door closes behind you, what would you guys like to do?
Well, I want to get heading towards the river, but that's just my thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Please
Real
get
quick
over
though, I do want a ruling check real quick on
Okay.
something. When the spell title says, or whenever the component says, a piece of flesh, where does the flesh come from? Component for animate dead.
It just says a piece of flesh. It doesn't say that it has to be human or animal or anything like that. It's just got to be a piece of flesh.
Perfect.
And my ruling on that is it cannot be cooked meat. That's my only kind of rule on that. If you want it to be raw meat, fine, but I don't.
Just
I
go
don't
talk to the
think it. Can,
barkeep.
I don't think it can be cooked.
And another thing is, how fresh does the meat have to be?
It doesn't specify according to the spell, so it doesn't matter.
So
Perfect.
by that logic, that means that if you come across a dead body, you can literally use its own flesh as part of the component for rezzing it.
Yep.
Wow. That makes that easy.
Wunderbar.
Wish mine still wasn't that easy.
I'm going to actually look real quick through whatever, maybe find some kind of, trying to think of what kind of shop would have, like, little glass baubles, like little tiny bottles. Like, you know how whenever you go to some kind of aquarium or some place with shark exhibits, they have those little shark teeth in bottles, tiny ones.
Yeah.
Those kind of bottles.
Oh
Interesting.
no,
Why do you need these again?
my head.
Are you asking Katya?
Yes.
To collect, to hold some spell components for a spell that I recently was made aware of and would like to acquire. I would like to have those spells components ready.
You learn new magic.
I
How
only
do you-
heard of the spell, and it caught my interest, and I wish to find a way to learn it.
Well, how does that exactly work? Like, how do you know when you're ready to cast new magic? You just do it?
Not quite. Like I said, I heard the name of the spell and a few details about it, and I was interested in it, and wished to find not only a way to learn the spell, but also to collect the components for the spell before I begin learning it. Instead
That just
of
sounds like a lot of work.
That makes it. That actually sounds easier because I don't even know when I'm ready to cast new magic. It just
happens.
yes, and in really weird ways with odd side effects. Like I don't always plan it. It just kind of manifests. But since I do know that some spells require material components, but how do I know when I need material components for a new spell that might suddenly manifest? That's complicated.
Research, actually. And I pull out a small notebook that has the name, like, you can't read the language, since I don't think you have Infernal.
No.
Okay, so does anyone else in the group have Infernal, by the way?
Nope.
Pardon?
If anyone does, it's Cardin.
Blind? Oh, blind.
Garden.
Deaf?
I'll check. He does not.
Okay, then no one in the group can read.
He
By the
might
way,
he might understand a word or two, because you guys did learn that he does speak Abyssal, which Abyssal and Infernal share kind of like some characteristics, much like Giant and Dwarvish. If that makes sense.
Or Elvish and Sylvan?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
there he is.
Yeah,
Alright, he's back.
yeah. I had to take care of some stuff.
So no one can read what's on the
Well,
notebook.
what I'm saying is,
what I say is, here's the name of the spell, and as you can see, I've put down components that I've heard it needs, some that it might need, according to what just the name of the spell implies. I have to research the spell.
Katia, you see a bunch of scribblies.
I can't read that. It looks like Doctor's handwriting.
I look at it, kind of tilt my head a little bit. Huh. Well, that would make sense. I am studying to be a type of doctor.
May I look at it?
Sure.
I look at the paper.
Infernal.
Yeah, you can't quite make out all of the words, but you do occasionally make out a word. Like, you make out the word fur at some point in time, just looking
Cool.
over the notes. But the rest of it you don't really recognize.
Okay.
I guess what I'm trying to say is, you learn new magic because you decide, hey, I want to cast this, so I'm going to study how it works and get the components. It's not that way with me. Like I said, it wants to manifest. I guess the best way to describe it is like, I just get this sensation, like a new feeling inside that wants to
I got
well
a
up.
feeling.
Yeah, it's just kind of like when I woke up this morning, my fingers felt tingly, and as I put them together, you know what happens when you drag your feet across the floor, and then you go to touch something metal, and you get that zap?
Oh, static electricity.
Yes, that's kind of what it was like, except I wasn't dragging myself across the floor. I put my fingers together, and there was like this arc of electricity for a moment, but how do I know what spell to research, because lightning and electricity, that's a lot of different spells. How do I know which one I need to be studying and what components to get?
Have yourself some kind of tome of magical knowledge, and try testing out which ones seem to work. The magic should
Interesting.
feel right. Like, for example, and I just produced my firebolt in my hand. The feeling of heat, the feeling of the power of fire. It can manifest here as firebolt, or, as I've read, later spells, the fireball.
Ooh.
And you just see this smile on my face. Fireball.
What? No.
Tome of magical knowledge. I doubt I'm going to be able to find one that I can procure in this town, but perhaps at the capital. Perhaps I could either buy one if the library sells books, or maybe they'll have a magic shop that will provide. As for finding the correct components for casting, that might require a process of elimination, some personal sacrifice, and a stroke of luck.
Indeed. But as I said, sometimes you just need to find someone who already knows the spell and they can point you in the right direction. Or someone who can point you in the right direction even if you don't know the spell's name.
Well, what do you think? Based on what I described my sensation this morning, this tingling feeling in my fingers, what do you think I'm on the verge of?
Would that be an Arcana roll, DM?
Yes.
Oh, thank God it wasn't
Thank
that
God.
one.
Yeah, thank God it wasn't one. But that's a 19 on the roll.
Okay.
Does that sound like any kind of spell I've heard of?
Let's just say,
Trying to
like I can feel it in my hands, and like it just wants to erupt from my fingertips, and just I can imagine myself just how do I describe it? It's very barbaric in nature. I see a target and I just want it to just fury of a storm, just kapoosh, and they just erupt into bolts of lightning and maybe even catch fire a little. That's just an added bonus, though. That's the feeling that I'm getting.
Hmm.
And I had a dream last night, in addition to that, where, like, this giant of a man was bearing down on me, and he was going to crush the life from me, but somehow I reached out my hand, and he became really sluggish, really slow, and I was able to get away. But I'm not sure if that's just a dream or something else trying to manifest itself.
So, with a 19 Arcana, could be a number of spells. Lightning Lure stands out as probably the most probable one, but there's a couple of even.
Sorry, I'm just putting that there so I can
That's
have
a
it.
spell?
Yeah, it's a cantrip.
It's not in my book.
Yeah, it's in Sword Coast.
I see.
Yeah, but I have access to it, so it's legal. There's another one. You've never seen it performed, but you've heard about it.
What? Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello?
Sorry,
Hi.
everything cut out for a sec on my end.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
We're good here.
Basically, Lightning Lure was one that it could be, or at least most readily easily be, because because it's kind of a basic one. But there's another one that you've never seen, but you've heard about, called Lightning Bolt, and it's it's said to be able to manipulate, to copy, the wrath of, Thainla. Oh, sorry, I butchered that pronunciation. 1 second here. Look,
It's bad when
pronunciation is not my strongest. I am sorry. I will apologize. Thela. Thela. Or Thela. Both ways.
to me it looks like paella. So that's
So-
what I've been calling it.
Yeah.
La 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 la.
Thyla. The god, the god of, the goddess of tempest or storms. It's said to be able to copy her wrath in that regard. And you're positive that there's more that can harness this idea of electricity and lightning. But those are the ones that come to mind most readily for Katya. That he doesn't already have some general knowledge of spells in that regard anyway. Because you know, like, Witch Bolt is a lightning
Yeah.
damage, so that's why
Yes.
that
And-
one comes to
and
mind as
Chromatic
well.
Orb allows me that too.
And like those come to mind, but you know he already knows those, so
Yeah,
you figure it's not those spells.
it's something new.
So right off the bat, I can think of a minor spell called Lightning Lure. But tell me, how powerful does the lightning in your dream?
Ooh, it's a power that overtakes me. It's not something that I can readily control. Like, it wants to lash out upon anyone that would anger me, but it's not something I can, like, trying to figure out how to put it into words. If I could control it, I wouldn't be asking the question. How about that?
Does it feel like you're taking the wrath of nature into your very hand?
In a way, yes. It fills me with a primal fury.
Then it may not be Lightning Lure, but rather a spell that I've heard of, maybe come across in my studies briefly that mentioned it only. But it may be called a spell called Lightning Bolt.
That sounds exciting.
I have no clue what it takes to cast it, honestly. It doesn't... It, like I said, mentioned, I've heard of it, barely. But it is taking the power of Thor himself. Thyla in your...
Who's?
In
I
your...
was about to say, who's Thor?
Remember, my gods are have apparently drifted from yours.
Ah, I see. So Thala. All right.
Yes, that one. Taking their power into your very hands and destroying your enemies at a great distance.
Ooh. That sounds very useful. But
Like I said, I do not
You-
know much about it.
you don't know that if it requires material components and or what they may be.
Yes, we would have to find someone... Maybe a great mage?
Ooh.
Definitely more powerful than me.
I do also need to ask. I mean, I'm not sure exactly what magic I was using when I rendered myself as a male. But I do have to ask, what would happen if you tried to cast a spell that you did not have the components to do?
Usually the spell would fail, but and that this to DM, is that correct?
As far
The
as
spell would
you're
be-
aware and have experience, yeah.
Okay, just wanted to make sure before I kept saying things, and you're
Yeah.
like, actually.
Yeah, no, you're pretty good in this so far.
I'm pretty good at reading in between the lines for game rules.
Well, when you've been playing as long as we have.
Yeah. As I said, it would normally fail. There are exceptions to rules, of course, but generally, as far as I can tell, the spell should fail and just fizzle at the very worst.
Well, I certainly wouldn't want to try it, and it somehow backfire. I just get struck by lightning, because that would be a very quick and painful way to go.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and one more question to DM.
Mhm.
From what you were saying earlier about what the people look like, it sounds like I do have knowledge of altered self? Question mark.
I mean, yeah, I mean that is a spell, and lots of different people could use it. It's possible that that is what he was using, but you're unsure. Without being able to examine it personally, it'd be really difficult to come up with what that magic is.
But my question is, do I know of the spell Alter Self?
Oh,
Arcana?
no, I would say you would have knowledge of that spell. It's a fairly basic spell.
And as far as I can tell about spells failing, from what I'm hearing, okay, hold on, just my brain is doing the failing part.
Yeah.
It's doing backflips.
Yes. Did I ever hear your transformation story? Because I don't remember anything about it.
I believe
You
I
have
eventually
not.
told the. I thought I told the whole party.
I don't.
I know I told Valinar and
Yeah, those
Anna
are the.
at one point.
Oh, you know what?
And then
You
kinda-
did. You did.
I
At
kind
the-
of
at-
gave a more
the-
brief description to everybody else.
Everybody else has a general idea of what is going on with you at the moment. Valinar is the only one that knows in depth, other than Ada, about what's going on. Denoc and Carden basically knows that Katya was once a girl, now he's not. How that happened, no one knows.
Magic mishap. Magic mishap.
So I'm actually not going to say anything there because as we just said, once a girl, now a guy, and I never asked. And that wouldn't... Well, now that I think about it, by saying about spell failing, I'm going to roll an int check to see if I connect the two dots, or would that be wisdom?
I'd allow intelligence.
Okay,
Nice.
yes. Dots
I'd
are
say a
connected.
20. I would say a 22 will connect those dots.
And wait, spell failing. Is that how you became? And I just gesture some kind of spell or magical mishap.
I suppose in a way. I didn't study magic much before my transformation. It was only afterward, the last couple of years, that I've started to delve more into it to try and figure out how I could understand it better and find a way to go back. I knew magic was a good source of energy and a fantastic catalyst under proper circumstances for the use in alchemy. But I grossly I didn't understand it well enough, and I underestimated its power.
Do not underestimate the power.
I absolutely did. I thought I had more control than I did. I had read theoretical notes on the use of magic during alchemy, and I was trying to replicate someone's findings, but I clearly did not have the amount of control over it that they did. And my life has just been very interesting since.
It sounds like you somehow cast some kind of alteration spell, transmutation.
Which makes sense, considering what I was trying to do was find a way to replicate water from other natural resources.
And the closest thing I can think of to something like that would be some kind of alter self spell. That's the actual name of the spell, alter self. But that should
Alter
only
self, you
last
say?
up to an hour.
Well, it's
At
been
that-
2 years.
Then this is definitely some kind of mutation of that spell. What exactly were you doing at the time it happened?
Like I said, I was trying to replicate somebody's theoretical experiment to convert water from stone. I literally had a bowl full of rocks. I was attempting to use some form of magic to try and change those rocks into water. I don't know what the name of the spell was. I may not have had the material components. I don't know.
Also, just
All
for
I
my
know
own
is-
my own knowledge, you guys are currently trying to head to the source of water, correct?
I thought we were looking for a place for components, actually.
Mm-hmm.
We were just talking on the way.
Well, because that's why I'm asking, because like this is a very long conversation, and depending on where you guys are going, depends on how long I'm going to let it carry on for.
Ah,
Where are you heading?
I'm definitely looking for, like I said, those little vials so I can put the different parts for my spell in.
Okay. I'll say, for the sake of ease, you guys find this almost hoarder-like house with a
boy.
sign out front that says, "We got goods."
Well, that's definitely a thing. What the fuck?
Yes, we do. We have lots of goods. Anything you guys want? And you guys gotta turn and
Whoa.
jump and turn.
Whoa!
And there's a gnome. Yep, a gnome kind of standing there, kind of almost in the middle of your party, not even really having recognized him having come up to you guys. He's kind of like staring at you guys, kind of ready to bolt if necessary, but like still looking you guys up and down. You can see his one hand is just tap, tap, tap on his arm as he's like waiting.
I didn't see you there. My apologies. Are you the owner of this shop?
Yes, we home have lots of things.
Yes. Do you have small vials, small bottles about the size of my pinky?
Yeah, we have some. What you have for trade?
Let's see, actually, question: do I still have those griffin bits from very early on? I know I traded one bit.
Are they still on your
And then
character sheet?
Yeah.
Then probably they're probably not very well preserved at this point. But I mean, the hard objects are, but I don't know what all you have.
On my sheet it says beak, talon, feathers.
Okay, so that's what you have. The feather. I mean, everything would still be in pretty good condition.
Especially if I was careful in packing them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I pull out a beak and a few feathers. Griffin tarts.
He parted
He kind of like reaches out and pulls like you said you offer what?
Beak and feathers.
And feather. He kind of like pulls the beak from you and kind of looks it over and kind of turns it around a little bit in his hand and then plucks a feather. Kind of does the same thing. Still holding the beak, by the way, as he does this. Yeah, yes, and he takes the other feather. I think you said you offered two. Is that right?
Yes.
The two feathers and a beak, and he like sticks it into like the sleeve of his robe, and he reaches in and pulls out three kind of like small sized glass jars with corks in it. He pulls up three and kind of in his hand kind of hands them to you.
Okay, perfect.
Now my turn.
Yes.
Do you have any books on magical knowledge? Specifically about spells.
Yes, but specific what?
Anything relating to lightning bolt?
You like watch him like actually like vanish into the house. You never see a door open, but you watch as he like walks into like almost like into a pile of this stuff and just vanishes.
Interesting.
And he kind of comes out like a few seconds later. And he's like brushing off this kind of large tome, and like brushing it off. You can like see he pulls a banana peel off of it, looks it over, and just throws it into the street, and kind of wipes off the book. Kind of goes, and he kind of like shows you it. The title of the book is harnessing the storm god's wrath.
Ooh. Do you mind if I take a look at it real quick?
He kind of like looks at you and goes, trade.
Trade? Just to look at the book and give it back?
Check for this guy.
Oh no.
Wow, okay. And kind of goes, yes. You think Ulrich is smart, but Ulrich is smart. You want book or even to open book. Trade.
How about if I give you a gold piece to skim through it really quick and hand it back to you so I can actually trade for the item that I do need?
But you book take time.
He doesn't wish to learn from the book yet. He wishes to make sure this book has the knowledge he needs to learn.
Exactly.
After all, that could... Nothing against you,
I mean-
sir. Nothing against you. But there are
I mean,
scam artists who would simply put the name of an important title on a random book and try and sell that. We are merely wishing to make sure.
I mean, certainly inside there's a table of contents that I can use to look for specifically the components, and then I'll see if you have those components, and then we'll trade.
Dina, go ahead and roll a persuasion check.
Oh, now you roll low. Great.
Wow. Okay.
Had
Kind
it
of
come
like looks at
sometime.
you. Kind of like looks at you and goes, 3 gold deal.
3 gold. I can accept that.
Okay. He takes the 3 gold and he kind of like lets you. He kind of like opens the book. He's still holding it, but he allows you to open the book and flip through to the page that you need. The book details a vast number of lightning-based spells.
Oh, really?
Not necessarily on like how to cast them in terms of like for example, a wizard wouldn't be able to buy this book and acquire all of the spells. He would learn of the spells, but he wouldn't learn how to cast them. Eventually
Okay.
you find lightning bolt, and you learn, and it details kind of the fact that it has vocal, somatic, and material, and that material being the material of what is needed. Lightning. Top of my head.
Says here, a bit of fur, and a rod made of either amber, crystal, or glass.
There you go.
Alright, so now I know what I need to look for. But this book is kind of interesting, and I'd hate to pass up this much amount of knowledge for future reference. How much if I want to buy the book in addition to the components?
Remember, he's requiring an item to trade.
About all I've got that's an item is I do have... We did face off against a 2-headed death dog, and I managed to procure one of its paws. And Katya's gonna pull that out of his, I guess, backpack.
Okay. Kind of looks it over, and it's essentially a large paw, and he kind of like, that kind of component already.
Oh! You mean the fur part?
Hmm.
That's a good point.
Your robes are
Didn't think-
nice.
I'm not sure I can trade these. These are from my father. I can't just give them up. But
They're nice.
I know they're nice, and I'm not going to take them off anytime soon. But imagine if I can acquire the other necessary component to cast Lightning Bolt, the amount of fantastic things I can do with this magic. I might be able to slay something even larger than a death dog and bring you an even bigger trophy. That's an attempt at persuasion.
Yeah, unfortunately, based off of this guy, it's probably not going to happen, because honestly his reaction to that is going to be, what good does something in the future do me
Trade.
now?
Ah. I have a vial with a potion of bark skin in it. I'll trade that for the book. And if you have it, a rod made of amber or glass.
Hmm. How about potion for components? No book. Book expensive.
Well, how much for the book then? Perhaps I can pay you in gold.
Ah. 65 gold.
The price of knowledge is expensive, but it may do me well in the future. And for what I've seen of this book, how would I check to see if this is like, this book is just legit through and through, and this is a good deal? What kind of roll would I need for that?
I mean, if it told you lightning bolt, I'd say it's pretty legit.
Oh, yeah, that is true.
I mean, again, it's not giving you like the like it's not like a scroll of lightning bolt or anything like
Well,
that.
yeah, it's not going to teach me the spell, but it's giving me insight on as to it.
Yep.
And if I want to take up lightning spells in the future, it wouldn't be a bad investment.
I'll say roll just a real quick investigation check as you're kind of like skimming through the book.
Thank God I was the one.
Off 20. You saw some other interesting spells in there based off of the idea of lightning. You saw something called lightning arrow at one point. You also think that there's some other spells that may be beneficial. There were some others in a kind of a remote section about bringing lightning down from the sky and having it target individual people.
Ooh.
But you only got caught glimpses of that as you were flipping through trying to find lightning.
Trying to make a decision. Okay. So you say 65 gold and the potion. For book and components.
Yep.
You know what? Deal. Let's do it.
Okay.
That leaves me at 37 gold pieces.
He kind of snaps the book shut. Deal! Hands you the book.
Thank you much, sir.
Yeah.
I would have tried haggling myself.
For future knowledge, this book contains details on the spells Lightning Lure, Lightning Bolt.
Hang on. One book of spells. Knowledge. Okay, those are... Oops, I pushed the button. Hang on. You said Lightning Lure, which I don't have access to that, so I'll have to ask you for if I try to take it later.
Mm-hmm.
Ready.
So there's Lightning Lure,
Okay.
Lightning Bolt,
Lightning Bolt.
Lightning... hold on one second, I'm actually gonna go real fast. I can...
Lightning. Okay, I see where we're going with this.
Alright, so... It's how to contain the Storm God's wrath. Okay, so... I do need to start over because I want to make sure that I give you all of them. So there's... I said Lightning Lure, Shocking Grasp.
Okay, Lightning Lure, Shocking Grasp.
Shocking Grasp. There is Witch Bolt.
Okay, that's not new.
There's I said lightning bolt, lightning arrow. There is
Arrow.
there's call lightning.
Call lightning. That's a lot of information already.
Chain lightning.
Chain
Ooh.
lightning.
Okay. Oh, I missed one. And storm sphere.
Storm. What?
Storm sphere. Storm sphere.
Spear.
Spear.
Sphere. Storm sphere. Gotcha.
Yep.
Okay, and that book was titled Painting the Storm God's Wrath. Right?
Above game knowledge, you guys have that book. It'll basically allow you guys to, especially the wizard, to all but learn the spells in the book. He would just have to figure out how it all fits together in order to cast it, and then he would be able to add it to his spell book. For you, Katya, it kind of gives you information on what kind of spell components would be needed, what kind of material would be, better versus worse. And it does give some tips on casting, in terms of don't cast it when wearing metal, or things like that.
That sounds like so much fun.
Yeah.
Cardin is
65 gold is a
Huh?
expensive but a good investment.
Cardin's currently outside doing exercises while he's
Everybody is outside. You guys never entered a building.
fighting. Okay. Either way, he is entertaining.
And he gave me and he also gave me the components, correct?
Yeah, you have enough components to cast a lightning bolt. And since they are not consumed, you're in luck.
Okay, so what kind of rod specifically did he give me?
He would have given you one, let's see. It would have been made of glass.
Okay.
Actually, wait, no, he's a hoarder. It would have been amber.
Even better.
Would have been that'd be
That'll
harder to break.
Allow me to use that. Cool.
Okay. All right.
I did not mean to click that. That is not what I pushed.
All right. And as you guys
Jesus.
begin to set off towards the water source, we're gonna go ahead and take a break
Nice.
because it's about 11:30. We've already covered a lot. It's probably about noon at this point, just so that you guys are aware. We may go a little later tonight, but I don't think we'll go too much over time. So let's be back in like 5, maybe 10 minutes. All right, guys?
Okay.
All right, we'll be right back, guys. Just a few minutes here. Okay, and we're back. Let's figure out what's about to happen here, guys. So you guys have effectively traveled for probably an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. It being kind of early afternoon at this point, probably 1 o'clock or so. And you guys have gotten to the very end of the river source. And Deanoch, just from looking at it, the river itself is not like a flowing river. It's kind of like a slow kind of a wash kind of a thing. So it's kind of tough to tell what would have washed that kind of a like poison or whatever down the stream. You gather it probably would have been the rainfall that you guys experienced. Probably. I mean, it would have been
2 days ago?
It would have been It would have been about 5 days ago.
That long already? Jeez.
Roughly,
2 days
it would have been.
is all
It would have been about 3 days. It would have been about 4 to 5 days is in that neighborhood.
That's right.
Because it was on your guys' way to the city of
To
Deja.
Deja. And then we were there for a couple days, at least.
Yep. Yeah,
One of
so
those days felt really long.
that's kind of your best kind of idea of what probably caused it. But as you guys kind of get to the very end of this river's edge, you see what it is.
What is it?
It's a gloom drake, or at least that's what you would assume it is. As you see this large, black-scaled lizard, like creature, just laying on its side, partially in the water, with wounds everywhere across
Is it
its body.
Dead?
The eyes have been completely, you assume, eaten away, and parts of the body is beginning to bloat in areas.
It is dead.
It has been dead for a while now, and is in the stage of decomposing in this heat and unfavorable terrain.
Real quick, Gloomdrake isn't in the D&D Beyond.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, could you give us a description? Because
Yeah.
I hear Gloomdrake, and all I know is gloom. What? What the hell?
So it is so as you kind of approach this creature, again, it's large, lizard-like, with these black scales, almost draconic in nature. The creature itself, even though it's bloated in some areas, you can tell had very large muscle groups. It would have been a 4-legged predator with a long tail. You gather, based off of the way the creature is positioned, it's about 10 feet long from nose to tail, and would have stood, its head would have raised probably 8 feet in the air. The teeth that remain in the mouth that aren't broken are like the size of daggers. You would gather probably used to crush bone and metal beneath its teeth and clawed limbs with fairly ease, some fair ease. And the creature is considered large.
Okay.
You're not. I mean, it's lying there dead. Seems to have been quite a number done on it too, as it's covered in scars and wounds.
I do have to ask. This is Katya.
Mm-hmm.
Does this creature have a natural poison sac, or is the fact that it's decomposing why the water's poison? Air quotes.
Well, that is a good question.
Those of you who would like can make a nature check.
Nature.
That I shall.
Sure, all of fun. 5.
How did I get the second highest?
I don't know.
With a
Either
negative
way,
1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1
Katya somehow is the only one that really gets this.
Kind of makes sense.
It's not poisonous to your knowledge. You don't know much about this creature. But from what you gather, it is not a poisonous creature.
May not be poisonous,
Okay.
but is it venomous?
There's
Or
a
is it just a
difference.
decomposing body in drinking water?
You gather, Katya. It's probably the decomposing body.
Yeah, that would make water. Maybe it's not poison, but definitely foul. Best thing we could do right now is just remove it from the water, drag it out somehow.
Okay, let's try to drag it out. Who wants to aid me?
Who wants to aid you? I think that's all we can do at this point.
Cardin steps up and is like, "All right, somebody grab the other side."
Why don't we all just tug on its tail? I'm assuming it has a tail.
How decomposed is it? Like, are we talking flesh will slog off if we touch it? Or are we saying
Did you not mention animate dead at any point recently?
I never specifically said the spell name? I made sure of that. Denock himself never mentioned the actual spell name. Ramos, the player, have been saying it, but Denock,
Mm-hmm.
the necromancer,
not.
besides, above game, it only works on medium size.
Yeah,
Aw.
and humanoids.
Up to medium size.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah,
like I said,
that's
I'm
and
not a necromancer, I don't
and
know.
Them are
Right.
small humans.
yeah, and humanoids. So, so Denock, go ahead and make a medicine check with advantage, for the slawing of the body,
I'll cast guidance.
and
Yes,
with
I
a
can.
D4.
Gonna need that D4.
Maybe.
15, because you have
Eh.
advantage.
Yeah.
So 15, not bad. That's enough. It doesn't appear to be to that point. Yeah, the flesh will probably pull and tear and rip off in places, just due to the natural order of decomposition. But it's not to the point where like it'll have some purchase. You're just not sure how much. And with enough force, any form of flesh will tear from its place.
Well, yeah, but
I do imagine it's not going to be easy to move since parts of it are saturated with water.
We just have to make sure we don't tug on someplace too hard.
How deep is the water? Let me check.
Right here, it's pretty shallow.
Okay. I don't suppose we could somehow try to roll it out of the water instead of just pulling on it.
You can certainly try.
is there anything else in the area?
I'm
You
gonna
guys
start-
are kind. You guys are kind of like
Go
on
ahead.
the edge of the woods. Which, by the way, the woods itself looks pretty normal. Looks like a normal woods or forest. And it kind of, in terms of like what else is around, there's not really anything that you notice. You know, you can kind of hear. Oh, you know what? I just realized something.
Uh-oh.
You don't have
Guys
the
are-
music on?
You guys are out in the woods. I'm playing city sounds.
Sounds like
Uh,
a very bustling forest.
yeah. So you guys, like, you can hear birds in the distance and kind of the gentle breeze that blows through this area, but nothing really out of the ordinary.
Is it
Sad.
is is the creature's belly facing towards the water, or is it back?
So the water kind of comes to an end, kind of like a bowl shape like this.
Mm-hmm.
The creature itself is kind of laying kind of this way, tail being down here. And
Oh,
its legs
Okay.
kind of are this way.
I see.
So pardon my
By the
stick
way-
figure, but
By the way, does this look like it was placed here intentionally?
it kind of looks like this is where it fell. You can kind of see the sandy edges here are kind of stained with blood.
So we want to
And-
kind of rotate him like this.
I mean,
So
or we could just
roll.
pull.
We could try pulling, and if his tail comes off, it'll just be easier to roll him then. It's a thought. We could certainly try pulling first, and then if that doesn't work, we'll try to roll him around somehow.
Okay,
Is
we're
the
all
tail-
gonna help Arden. Yep.
Okay. So
Is it
you
tail
guys
long
are
enough
gonna
for us all to
you guys
grab?
are gonna try and pull.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, we're
Alright,
gonna
then
grab out here.
All right, I'm gonna have everybody make either an athletics or a strength check for me then.
Neither one's good.
Yeah.
They're both the same.
Athletics it is.
Strength.
Oh, jeez, Arden.
Oh, Lord.
Wow.
Dinok, to be fair, I have a +7.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But still.
Yeah. All right, so we have an 8, a 6, a 25, and a 12.
And a 12. Do we still have the guiding thing?
Guidance is a one-time use.
Okay.
And he did not declare that he cast
I-
it, so unfortunately
actually was
nobody
saying-
can.
I was gonna say I was saying guidance when everyone started rolling, but I just kind of dropped it.
You could have waited and casted it on yourself.
I could have, but I just kind of dropped it once I realized everyone was rolling.
Yeah, I get it. Okay, so you guys, through some grit, you guys managed to pull this creature a little bit. It's not. You make some progress.
Oh, that's heavy.
You guys, by the time you guys are, you guys pull and you guys can feel your fingers beginning to dig into the flesh of the tail.
Great.
And
Oh, that's horrible for my claws.
Carden, eventually you just kind of pull the flesh away and just grab it by the spine and the tail and just really pull. Unfortunately though, as you guys kind of stop to take a little bit of a breather, you guys have realized that you guys have only moved it a little, like a few not terribly
Feet or
far.
Inches.
Uh,
Feet or inches.
Probably on the verge of a foot. You still have a few more feet to go. But unfortunately, they're just it is a very heavy creature, and not enough checks were made with to pass what it would take
Look,
to move
two of
it.
us are squishy mages. We don't
Alright,
got no
guys.
strength.
Hey,
You guys pull. I'm going to go over there towards the head, and I'm going to start hitting it with Eldritch Blast and see if I can't move it that way.
Hey, do we have enough sharp objects we could just cut it into pieces, pick out pieces?
See, I was about to say that, but Cardin is too stupid to.
I mean, I'm sure you guys have some sharp objects on you.
Hey,
Why don't you
hang
just
on,
smash
I
it with
have
your
that
maul?
soldier sword.
That wouldn't help.
I guess I could try to use the Demon Slayer forgery to cut it up. That's a longsword, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. It is.
Yeah, but it's an awfully nice sword to use on something like this.
You also know cutting it up, in the water would probably cause more water pollution.
Fair point.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
we could
wouldn't
always
care
go
if I
back and
wouldn't have purified prepared.
Can we
but
burn it?
we could always go back to town and report what it is, and say there's nothing around here. Yeah. I don't see any problems around here that would keep people from being able to pull this. We go in town, we tell them, hey, the Moon Dragon is just head first in the water, and we just couldn't pull it out.
Can we just burn it?
I mean, I'm not against that.
You can certainly try.
PM effects on fire against rotting carcass.
yeah.
Int check.
I mean, no. As a mortician, you would know that it'll stink to high heaven. It'll burn. Can be kind of messy at times, but it'll get done. Provided the fire gets hot enough.
Okay.
I do relay this information, and I do say, about that would leave just the bones, but at
And
the
the
same
bone-
time, explosions of bubbling flesh, and I just kind of splash the water a little bit because I feel like we've come like right here-ish
To
to
talk.
talk about it while we're looking at this of
Okay,
rolling
fair
it. or
enough.
something.
Fair enough.
Anyone want to say no to that? No. Okay.
No?
So we're standing right about here-ish.
Okay. Easy enough.
We're talking, and
Makes sense.
I'm probably standing like right here. So yes, I use my foot to kind of splash the water a little bit. I don't know how much infection would spread from
Sure.
just the flesh bubbling.
Hey guys, we all have rope, right?
Yeah?
100 feet of it. I see where you're going.
Couldn't we just?
Oh. we might get a better grasp if we're pulling on rope instead of decaying flesh. Ugh.
And at here, I just kind of, how whenever you get your hands wet and you just kind of shake your hand a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I just kind of do that, and I'm like, I swear I am never going to get that feeling out of my claws.
You think it's bad to have under your claws? Imagine having fingernails. I've got carcass under my nails.
Imagine the feeling of your nails puncturing with ease. I was gripping the flesh from the inside the whole time.
While they're doing that, Valnar's looking for a good place to tie some rope up to the.
Okay. You might. I mean, if you're wanting to pull it, using the handhold that Cardin was using, you just going in and tying it around the base of the tail would probably be the most sound location on the creature itself.
Well, I mean, not just the tail, but around the legs, different legs.
Legs, heads.
Especially since I have 100 feet of it, which
Yeah.
I did offer to him.
I think everybody but
I can
Valinar has
offer-
50 feet of rope.
Actually, I bought 50 feet of rope after that.
Okay. I couldn't remember if you did or not. So between so the party has let's see, 50, 50 100, 200, 250 feet of rope. So you have a lot of rope.
Yeah. By
That's
the way,
more than we really need here.
how much blood is left in the dragon or Drake?
At
Like, can
this, go ahead and make a medicine check.
Yeah, that's not very good.
And as far as you can tell, there's not a whole lot left, if any.
Okay, I take a little bit of the least rotten flesh I can find.
The least rotten flesh. Wait, does it have any horns?
It does not.
Ah, okay.
I take that and I put it in that little vial I bought, and put that in my component pouch.
Okay.
You know, I'm gonna wait until we get it out of the water. Then maybe I'll blast a few of its teeth out for collection purposes.
I was thinking about
Okay.
just cutting off his head.
Why would you cut him out when you can shoot him out with force damage?
No, I mean cut off the head so we can show everyone what was polluting the water.
Oh, wouldn't it just
As
be
long
easier to cut off one of its legs or one of its paws, rather? I don't know. What do you call a Drakefoot?
Head is more typical for showing as proof that you've killed something.
But we didn't kill it. I'm just saying a foot would probably be lighter to carry. Thinking practical here.
So what are you
And that's
guys
a
doing
straight-
with the rope?
We're tying it to places like the legs.
Actually, I believe Valinor was doing that
Head.
while we're
Me.
bickering about what to do
Yeah,
with the
pretty
body
much,
yeah.
afterwards.
Are there trees nearby?
Yeah,
I forget.
there are
There's
trees
a
nearby.
forest.
Okay. Would they be close enough for us to use the trees as leverage? Like use the branches as leverage to lift it?
If you don't tie the rope to like every appendage that it has, yes.
Valinor!
I'm already
No.
tied into like everything.
Oh, okay.
I also thought we had separate ropes, so that's why I was tying it to like everything.
This is what happens when we sit here and we argue about what we're going to do while he does all the work.
Okay, let's try pulling it out with the rope, guys.
Okay, so how are you guys? What way are you guys pulling with the ropes?
I call this leg right here, and I'm gonna pull it as far away from the water as I can.
This direction or this direction?
This direction.
So the same way we
actually-
were pulling before.
Actually, more like this way. Actually.
So are you
That way
guys
at the very-
attempting to turn it clockwise then?
So are we
At the
going
ver-
that way?
Yeah, I'm gonna go that way. At the very least, we could at least rotate the body if we can't move it out.
So you guys are attempting to rotate the body clockwise with the ropes. Okay. Go ahead. I'll have everybody go ahead and make another strength or athletics check. With the difference being in my head.
2,
23.
6.
Strength again. Oh, this time I'll use strength. Oh my god.
This is even worse.
Wop, wop,
Ugh.
wop.
This rope is impossible. Like, I was having better luck holding on to the rotting flesh. As gross as that is.
How about we chop it into small pieces and just move it?
So
Because
I'm
then
gonna-
the leftovers would fall in the water and would continue to contaminate.
I'm gonna say, Katya, you like pull the rope like completely off of the creature. Like it just slides off, like cutting.
I
like, it-
blame Valinor.
and you like are left looking at the end of the rope, and you're just like, "What happened?" While everybody else is still pulling on the on the ropes and stuff, trying to get it to turn. And you guys do manage to turn it a little ways, not very far. Again, probably similar to the other time. With Cardin, you're doing a lot of the work, man. And at this point in time, you are getting pretty tired. Based off of the exertion you're doing.
Kadia starts pulling on the rope, and with all of his strength, the rope breaks free from the leg it was tied to, and he looks at the rope and he looks over at Valinar, who's pulling on a different rope, just shrugs.
That is kind of what happens. At this point in time, it's probably close to 3 or so in the afternoon. You guys do gather, though, that if you all have one more kind of good pull from this on this creature, you might be able to get it out of the water.
That's what I was thinking. I feel like we can get it this time if we just really, really try, really exert ourselves.
All right, guys, once more.
Try it. Hopefully,
Valinar, are you wanting to guide it? Guide?
No, I'm going to guidance myself.
Okay.
Hang on, I need to go and retie this rope to this leg. Thank you, Valinar. And I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna tie it better.
That's a 13 for me.
I pull. Well, you know, I tried.
Yeah. However, you guys had 3 successes, so you guys are actually able to pull the body from the water this time. Barely, but you managed to do so. It eventually, so it's like. It's now kind of like.
Oh, I pulled its legs off. Sweet.
I didn't need those anyway.
It's kind of like that now. These legs are just they're just there. It's kind of like just barely off of the water, but it is out of the water. Managed to do that. However, you look back at the water, and the water still has this irk of what visage was left from the Drake.
Valinar, do you have some kind of purification spell?
Not prepared.
Of course not.
Hey,
Maybe.
I didn't think I'd need it on a day we were going to fight.
Would a restoration spell do anything with this?
Well, I mean, it might.
You don't know magic, shush.
No, I'm asking. Rip, DM. Would Carter know that eventually all of this would actually wash out of the stream due to natural occurrences?
No. Not Cardin. Sorry. I would say Katya would know that.
Mm-hmm. But we just sped up the process, so it doesn't matter. Now it can just decay on the ground like any other dying creature. And now I'm going to cast an Eldritch Blast at its face so I can get some teeth.
All right. Roll a d10 for me.
A d10?
Yep.
Bloop.
Yeah.
Of course. 3.
Smack it real hard with your Eldritch Blast, dealing 3 points of damage. I'm gonna say you get 3. Yeah, we'll go with 3 fragments of Drake teeth.
Gotcha. 3.
Are they fragmented dragon teeth?
Yeah, they're like broken pieces of teeth.
Question to the DM:
Yeah.
does Valinor recognize Eldritch Blast? Or know what that is?
Yeah, has
Was
Katia ever used Eldritch Blast? I don't remember.
That's the first time I've used it.
Yeah, no, he hasn't used it before. I don't know if I'm trying to remember your backstory.
I was raised in a temple.
Was
So I was asking if maybe I would have come across it in books or training.
I mean, typically that's a spell that's typically used by warlocks.
Warlocks who make
Not-
pacts with demons.
So yeah, not sorcerers.
Yeah.
So it's like, wait, where did you get that one from? I don't know.
No, he is a cleric.
I'm gonna say no.
Okay.
Based off of just really quickly skimming through what I have of your backstory and what I just rolled, I'm gonna say no.
Okay.
And I've only
Warlocks, they're
really
just
interacted
beings.
with other wizards, not sorcerers or warlocks. So,
Mhm.
other than an interesting looking spell, that's all I see.
Yeah, pretty
Whoa,
much.
what's that one? It could have also been from a powerful face spirit, you know, but there's no telling with me.
It's probably about this point in time, Denock, you would kind of know that if you guys want to eat before
On time.
before the games, you need to be leaving here pretty quickly.
If we want to get back in time for dinner, we might want to leave now.
Fair enough.
I'm up for that.
Depends. Is dinner actually going to be good?
Doubt it. Maybe if I use my newfound power on the barkeep, maybe he'll make us some decent food.
Okay, so you guys are gonna leave the body there to decompose.
We're going to. I'm going to take a few scales, or at least real quick try to
Okay.
scales and maybe a claw.
Go ahead and roll survival then.
Before I do that, I turn to Valinor. What was that you were doing that helped us out? I've never felt that before, but I felt my abilities stronger.
It felt good.
Guidance?
Oh my.
Yes, guys. Is that it? Guidance?
Yes.
What is that, by the way?
Magic.
How would I describe that? It's best way I can think to describe that would be Geismo working through me to give a boost in someone's abilities, either mine or someone else's. Something just about any priest can do. Cleric.
You hear that, Dinoc? It comes from the gods.
I know you can't see it right now, but I am scowling right now.
I could see it actually. I could kind of feel it too.
So just to kind of clarify, when the spell was cast, you did feel this kind of warm sensation kind of wash over your body during the casting. And as Valinor stated, it is a ability through the divination of his god that allows him to bestow such a blessing, even if it is for a short time.
Anyways, when I hear that, I'm like, oh. And I just go and try cut.
What was that?
Two nat ones.
What? Natural one. What are those odds?
Pretty high around here, actually.
I don't know, but that is the biggest fuck you from any god I have ever seen.
The gods give me power. Nope, no skills for you.
Oh, that is perfect timing, by the way.
Oh my god. I don't know what else to call that but karma.
Yeah.
So double natural one.
Oh lord.
I'm gonna say as you kind of go and cut into this beast, it is hard. Like you can't find anything solid at this point. It all seems to be real mush-like or just so broken that it's not even something that's recognizable as a scale. Plus, you're a little distracted based off of the knowledge that was just presented to you.
Okay, and to flavor text this a bit more, I'm using my normal dagger. And as I go to stand up, I slip and fall into the mush.
Oh.
As I'm standing up, swearing vehemently, I notice I have lost my dagger as well.
Okay.
That just feels right for two natural ones.
Go for it, dude. I'm not gonna tell you to not throw away your weapons. So.
Oh boy.
Okay.
Fucking son of a
Well
bitch.
then. All right. So you guys begin to head back to town, to the inn. I'm assuming to get dinner.
Mhm.
Yes.
Okay.
And maybe find a
Maybe somewhere else to get dinner, actually. Or just have rations on the way back.
Eat and walk. Yeah, that might actually be better than dropping another 2 gold for a plate of shit.
Agreed.
Okay. So you guys are just gonna eat rations on the way back.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that way we're guaranteed the amount of time before we
Furthermore, it may actually prepare us better than eating literally barbecued shit.
Taste better, be better.
Alrighty.
Or it won't be poison.
You guys return. You guys return back to the inn, feeling as confident as you can about the up and coming games as you guys are preparing for whatever is in store for you. Kind of just pause here and just ask if people are wanting to keep going or if this might be a good place to end for the night.
This is actually a great
Yeah.
spot to end.
Kind of what
Yeah,
I
Because,
thought.
because next comes combat, and then you don't want to be in the middle of combat at the end of a session.
Well, I do know like the first round it's not gonna last very long. But we'll save it for next week. We'll say for the sake of brevity and everything, you guys have gotten registered and you guys have joined. Now I need to know what if you guys are, I need to know a couple of things. Are you guys entering solo as a party, and are you going to submission or to the death?
to the death, and I think we decided to the death, and as a party, though, Cardin wouldn't mind doing it. Like, Cardin volunteers to do it, like, himself, but he knows he would just get the money from that rather than the party.
Well,
And the party needs the
you're
money.
the only one. You're probably the only one of us that would actually survive doing it solo.
Donna kind of needs 300 gold.
Yeah. So it looks like we're doing this as a party this time. Though I feel like Cardin will, like, if time allows, will come back to compete solo. If that makes sense. If we
Okay.
live.
Okay. So you guys are doing to the death as a party.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And remember, the 300 gold is what you guys would win if you guys are considered the underdog.
Oh, what was the entry fee again?
So the entry fee for to the death in the party is 5 gold a person.
Just cross that out now.
Yeah.
Go ahead and mark
Yeah.
off 5 gold for everybody. Mark off 5 gold. And like I said, remember, if you guys are considered the underdogs, the price outcome will be 300 gold. But you also have to remember, Katya was running his mouth earlier today,
Yeah.
and then he proceeded to piss off the person he was running his mouth to. So I'll keep that in mind as we go into next week.
Uh-oh.
Damn it!
That can't
it's
be
just-
good.
It's just there'll be some rolls that I'll make kind of off screen and off camera and everything, and we'll see how the dice fall. There was
I
no
told
way
you,
he
I'm
could.
feeling spry.
There was no way he could have really have known about it, so it's fine.
Well, I know, but if he kept his mouth shut for once in his life,
Right?
With a charisma score as high as mine, it's not possible.
your charisma is -3.
My charisma? My charisma is +4.
All right. Well, guys, I think that's going to wrap it up here for us tonight. However, before we go, I am going to have everybody do their sign-out things. So, Romulus, why don't you go ahead and start us off?
Sure. Every Thursday and every other Saturday, although here coming up, this is definitely going to be changing though. You can usually find me over at my channel, twitch.tv/Romulus. We're doing Dark Souls 3 Cinders mod. We've recently started our third go through, going pyromancy. Burn, baby, burn. Disco
Ooh.
Inferno. And it's not going as good as Magic was. Strangely enough. It definitely feels like sorcery and miracles are definitely buffed, and it feels like pyromancies are almost vanilla. So that's adding a whole lot of struggle for me. We'll see how that goes. But like I said, things may be changing as work starts back up for me. And we will go as we come to it.
Yeah. Blind, what have you got going on?
Blind is here for World of. We actually have a new episode out of World of Caleb today, and we release that, or I release that podcast every Tuesday and Friday. Today we went over some fun topics that are pretty relevant to today's society and some of the tensions that can go on in that. But that's all I can get into, so you can go and listen to it over on Podbean. You can find me on Facebook and at Twitter as well at World of Caleb.
Okay, awesome. Rona Vert, you guys aren't doing anything fancy like that, yeah?
Nope.
Yep. We boring.
Yeah, that's all right. People busy. We just wanted to make sure. I don't want to leave you guys out.
I'm dedicated to this and only this.
Fair enough.
Once a week.
Should plug the one thing that we haven't done in ages.
Yeah, no. Why would I plug that if we're not doing it right now?
So I get that. As for myself, I'm typically here Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, playing varying games. Sunday we typically do Borderlands. Monday we usually have Monster Hunter Monday, and Wednesday with Warframe Wednesday, and then D&D on Fridays. All of these typically start around 9 p.m. or 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It varies from day to day, depending on what we're doing, that kind of a thing. For announcements and stuff like that, follow me on Twitter at Big Ripper, because that's where you can find all of the announcements that I make for everything. And if you miss a video, I upload everything to the Big Ripper YouTube channel, so check that out. All of our videos are over there in a nice, orderly fashion, and you can find them at your leisure. And if we have, if we have time, we'll be doing, we should be doing Borderlands this weekend, this Sunday. Myself, Blind, and Romulus with Borderlands 3. That is the plan. You know what they say, man plan and God laughs. So, we'll play that by ear at the moment, just because crap happens. And I also understand and know that schedules are going to be changing. So, make sure you stay tuned for those changes that are coming around. Stay tuned to the channel here. We'll make sure we cover those when they come about. And on Twitter, make sure you follow me on Twitter, because I definitely will be tweeting out those changes as they come around. But as always, guys, take care of yourself, especially in these crazy times. We hope you guys have a great night, and we will see you in the next one. Good night.
See y'all.
See y'all next week.